All right, hello everybody. My name is Master Chen.
I'm Zenova.
And I'm Richard Satchel.
God damn it, you're quiet. Anyway, you are either watching or listening to Greynoise. This is episode 186 of the podcast. We are here shortly after 7:30. It is Friday night here, though, so like every Friday night, we are here at the Sin Shop. That Sin Shop light should be on. We are horrible at opening. But in any case, we're here. Oh, you're the first one here. It's Zenify's fault. It's 1075 American Pacific Drive, Suite C in Henderson, Nevada. Even though we are in Henderson, we are still the Las Vegas Valley hackerspace. Go to meetup.com to see or /SinShop to see what we're doing here. You know, 3D printing. Lockpick is not this coming Monday, but next Monday, which means by the time I publish this episode, it'll be like 3 Mondays ago.
Dude, you're so far behind.
I'm totally, yeah, it's.
You're doing great.
Do you need
doing
help
awesome
with it? Because I'm not going to volunteer because I have too much. But
yeah, thanks for asking and then rejecting. No,
I would help, but I don't want to.
That's fine. That's,
Yeah.
No. It's just okay.
it's not my wheelhouse.
We can actually get into this and why we're behind on the uploads. But if you're watching on YouTube,
wait,
you are
said
current.
we're behind.
Okay, I'm behind. Why I'm behind it? Okay, hold on. Let's get to this.
Here we
God
go.
damn it. Anyway, go
Straight
to
up
Greynoise, GREYNOI.se for information on us. You can go to our Discord channel. That's Greynoise/Discord. We are here every week, all week though. It's not just Friday thing.
Sound like there was a question mark there.
No, I didn't phrase it right. Every week? No, I'm saying like it's not just Friday that we're chatting. But right now we are in the live stream channel, so if you want to chat with us, you are more than welcome to. And you are also more than welcome to come down here. I mean, that's why I did give the address. So,
We're missing Doxy.
Nailed it.
oh yes, we are missing Doxy. Now let's talk about that. But before, do you guys have any announcements before we shit on Doxy?
There's that Sin Shop Spring Soiree that you and I are hosting on April 6th.
It's April 6th. It's going to be right after the board meeting, so it's going to be okay. Let's talk about this for a little bit because usually, me being the community event master. I throw like one party a year, which is the Halloween party, because Halloween is like one of my favorite holidays. And that's just one party out of like a potential grab bag.
I mean, you're allotted like a decent funding amount.
I know, and I never go over budget, and everybody's like, should we still give him this much money in the budget because he only uses this much?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll throw more parties. So Zenify said, hey, let's throw a spring soiree. So I'm going to let him do all the planning, and I'm just going to take credit for it. No, I'm kidding. But it is going to be
Hopefully
April.
he actually makes it, because he says he's going to go to each of these board meetings. And like tomorrow's board meeting, for instance, last minute he goes, guess what, I'm not going to be there. Can you run the show notes?
LOL.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
I don't have control right now. And we'll talk about this. Let's talk about this. Hang on.
Okay.
All right. So the spring soiree is after the next board meeting on April 6th.
Yeah.
So it'll be from like 3 p.m. to like 6 or whenever, question marks, right? As far as tomorrow goes, I have some family events that I will be, that'll be the reason why I'm not attending, but I'll be there in spirit. In fact, I'll probably put in my Jabra earpiece and just listen to you guys while I do what I need to do. So I'll be there in spirit.
No, I'm totally listening, guys. I'm just going to rest my eyes for a second.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
He's just taking a nap.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
He just didn't want to come.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, I think Doxy, okay, Doxy hasn't been here for the past 4 episodes.
Okay.
We're starting to notice his absence.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I thought, and Satchel, I am glad that you're here, but I thought that you weren't going to be here. I thought you guys were starting to avoid me. In fact, I think I mentioned that last week or the week before.
So here's the thing.
I was.
You were avoiding me. Okay.
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
Yeah. And I tried to like hide him at my house while during the shows, but yeah,
Didn't work
the
out.
schedule didn't. Yeah.
Well,
If I could have been here rather than move, I definitely would have.
Yeah.
Because moving is
is
so
fun, isn't
Moving
it?
is the worst.
Yeah. I'm learning how to do sarcasm, so I don't.
I
need to do
luckily-
You're pretty good. Yeah.
Okay.
I
You're doing great.
luckily moved without that much stuff. So I moved into my new house a year ago, but I didn't have that much stuff. So it was a little bit easier.
Right.
If I go to move a second time,
You're fucked.
I'm not fucked. I'm hiring people and they're fucked. There's no way I'm doing that shit.
Yeah, I think next time I might actually do that. I might hire somebody to pack my
100%
stuff.
It's worth the money, isn't it?
It certainly seems like it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely it's going to be worth the money. I'll have a moving savings account set aside. I'll let that shit collect interest, and anything more I'll just put it towards tech funding or something. But there's absolutely no way I'm going to move my house the next time I move, which will probably be in like 10 plus years. But
yeah, if I have any say in the matter, it's going to be at least 10 years for me.
Yeah.
Because fuck that.
Insane. It sucks.
It was some bullshit.
But now Doxy still isn't here, and I know he wasn't moving. I think he just doesn't want to wear that cheese shirt.
I think he's just got shit to do.
How could we make him make up not wearing the shirt?
I mean, okay, if you think about it, out of 52 weeks, currently he's only liable now for 48.
So we're lacking in social media posts on our Instagram. I think he needs to travel to places wearing the shirt and then take Instagram photos wearing the shirt.
Okay, I love that idea, but he has to be drunk to agree to it, because otherwise he wouldn't agree to it. And
Are you sure? Maybe he will. We just got to con him into going somewhere.
Well, we don't even know if he's listening live right now. So.
He's definitely not listening
No,
live.
I know he's not. I know he's not. He's Doxy.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck. No.
If I had to put money down on it, I would say
I would not put money down on it because
not.
I'm on the same page as you guys.
Exactly.
Anyway, I just think he's afraid. Eventually, he's gonna get that lime green. You think he's gonna?
He's
I
gonna
think
make
he
it.
wanted it in the first place, honestly. That's the
Wait,
only
you think
way.
he wanted the lime
That's
green?
the only way it makes sense. The only way it makes sense in my mind to make a bet that
With himself.
where there's no winning situation. Like, the best he can hope for is what he has right now.
Which is wear the shirt every Friday.
No. What I'm saying is whatever color hair he wants to have, that's his best case scenario. There's no win state in which you have to dye your hair green. There's no win state for him.
Look, like we said in chat,
There
okay?
should be a win
Yeah.
state, though.
When Doxy makes bets, it's not always with somebody else. It's with sober Doxy and drunk Doxy. And those are two completely different individuals.
Those two need to sit
I know.
down and work some stuff out.
those are two completely different individuals. So I think it'll be a bet that holds up in court. So,
I mean,
well, okay, no, I take that back because you can't be drunk and sign a contract. But so I guess you can't make a bet.
and he didn't actually sign a contract,
Well,
even sober.
shh, don't give him ideas to back out. Quiet. He's not going to listen to this, but quiet. Anyway, that's my theory. That's my theory.
If we whisper, he won't turn it up.
Yeah, if we whisper, he's probably not even listening to this episode anyway. Not even in the future.
Yeah.
So, all right. Do you guys want to talk about anything specific right now?
No. We could just
Stuff.
end it.
Oh,
We just
you guys
end
are
the show.
so
We're 8 minutes
on
in,
it.
we're
All
good.
right.
I want to talk about things that are general.
Okay.
Stuff,
great,
man.
Great.
Isn't it like good?
No. Okay. Oh.
kinda.
Hold on. Before we actually get into something that I wanted to talk about, okay. Let's talk about this first because I found this to be interesting. DEFCON.org, the site for the DEFCON hacker conference, was down for I think 48 hours or more. They did post an Instagram picture of, I guess somebody stole their, it wasn't a
Power meter.
Yeah, their power meter. And so the site's down, which means I don't know if the site is hosted out of a house or.
But so when you remove that meter, though, yeah, so it disables power because it doesn't know how to accurately account for however much
Right, so you're just
usage
down,
you're using.
right?
But I mean, you would think that the power company is like, well, that was ours, and we need to monitor your power usage, so let's get that out there.
Okay, so here's the deal. When you take that out, that is basically that meter is inserted in your power line. In other words, it comes in one side and goes out the other, right?
Yeah.
That's how it meters.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that you can do this, but if that meter happens to be missing for some reason, like you get your power shut off, from what I understand, dinner knives will fit there nicely.
Huh.
And you will then have free power.
Like a
You
dinner
also-
knife, like a butter knife that's fully metal, or like a
Because
steak
they're
knife?
two little clips. Positive. Well, not positive and negative.
Okay,
but-
yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It kind of bridges them, and then whatever's going through the meter, it ticks it up.
Now that's live, So
Oh yeah. So if
Do-
you
so
are,
do it with a
if
napkin.
you're barehanded,
a long stick. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
it's not gonna feel good if you just barehand it.
It ain't gonna tickle.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Have you ever been electrically shocked?
Oh yeah.
And you have?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Say, hey, we've all been here. I mean, done
yeah. I've
Well, not that voltage though.
What did
No, no,
I
no, no, no.
do? I can't. Yeah, so that's probably. Oh no, I was helping McNutt move, and I couldn't figure out how to remove some smart automation light switches. So I was trying to uninstall them and install new ones, and I couldn't figure out which breaker to turn off. It's like, fuck it, I'll do it live, literally. And by the way, don't fucking touch those wires.
Okay.
Hurt
Did you
a
know
lot.
that 110 is actually? Oh, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying. Yeah, it hurt a lot.
Yeah, 110 is actually more dangerous. Like, there's more deaths from 110 than there is from 208.
Yeah.
Right? Because 110 will make you tense up and grab on.
That's what
Oh yeah,
happened.
and you can't let go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was able to let go because
Mm-hmm.
it's just like a thing, and so I just like moved my hand away, so it basically slipped through it.
Yeah.
But after that, I was like, damn, I'm not going to do that again. And I just went back to working. And guess what happened a second time?
You did it again.
The same thing. It hurt my arm so bad.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, fuck it. And we just killed power to the whole house.
You just take a wire nut and put it over the hot wire.
Well, no, because I had to connect I was basically trying to take it with some like just needle nose and just wrap it around the nut on the cheap ass fucking like 89-cent power switches. So I couldn't put a nut on it.
So, okay, in those cases, then you put one hand in your pocket.
Yeah.
So that.
Oh yeah,
doesn't
no,
cross your
definitely
heart.
don't. Yeah, so definitely don't hold the switch with one hand
Oh.
and try and put it on because the other side still is metal.
Wait, is that what you did?
No, that's what I did, and that's why it hurt so fucking bad.
Now, last thing though, before we go to community, Mike, I hope
Yeah.
I'm not going to blow yours up. If you really are just like, I can't find where the circuit breaker is,
Yeah.
short it out.
Oh yeah, huh? Yeah, I
Then
could
you
just
pop the
pop
breaker.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, granted, your breaker's going to work a few less times now. Because they have a certain.
But
number
you'd
of
be
lives.
alive to know.
Well, yeah, and you'll know where the fucking breaker is.
All right, let's go to community Mike.
Yeah, I was going to make the comment that I think when you were mentioning that there were probably more deaths with 110 than 208,
Yeah.
it's probably because more people are less likely to shut the breaker off thinking, oh, it's 110.
Oh, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably definitely true,
Yeah.
and that's probably where my train of thought was.
Well, but 208, I think, will not, or
It's 215, isn't it? 210, or
220, 221, whatever it takes.
240. No, 220.
240?
No, you're right.
It's 220, but
It's
by the
something in
time
the
it gets to
twos.
your outlet, it's
208.
208.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's RTMS and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, now I forgot.
Well, okay.
Oh, that's it. 208 will knock you off of it, whereas it'll pop and like knock you off of it, whereas 110 makes your muscles contract.
Yeah. So I've been shocked. I've been shocked fairly bad twice in my life.
Yeah.
And both of them had to deal with phone technology.
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, the 12 volts from the. Oh no, it's more than that. It's like 87 from the ringer, isn't it?
Well, so the first time I was playing with the beige box, which is like the lineman's handset on the outside of the house. So like, as I'm connecting these wires, I got shocked. I don't even know what the voltage is, but that was a pretty bad one.
I think,
5 or 12 volts, and it would be
Okay, so it's not.
but it's
high amperage.
Oh,
but it
yeah.
spikes whenever it rings, because that's the thing. It's like
Was I
Was
connect?
86. Okay.
Was I connecting the lineman's handset right when a phone call was being answered?
Possible.
I could have fucked myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
So that I mean, so for me though, that was probably most recently the worst time I ever shocked myself. Another time I shocked myself is when I was a lot younger, and my dad's like, "Hey, I need you to vacuum," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll vacuum." So I went to go plug the vacuum in, but instead of just holding the plug and plugging it in, I for some reason put my hand around the prongs and pushed it in, and right when it touched the contacts, my fingers were around the prongs, and that shit hurt real bad too.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, no, that didn't tickle at all.
Yeah,
whoa.
yeah, dude, fuck electricity.
Yeah.
That's just invisible.
There's a reason why you call an electrician, and
Yeah.
even sometimes the electricians are like, well, I don't want to say they're weary because they're professionals, but it's like they know what they're dealing with,
Yeah.
no matter how professional they are. Like
There's dumb electricians and there's old electricians, but there aren't any old dumb electricians.
that's very true. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
No, and so the second time I shocked myself pretty badly was I was removing a T1 circuit, and this, granted, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know if I was supposed to leave the equipment there or like the service request was remove your equipment. And so I saw that our equipment was connected to this T1 line, and I believe that T1 line was our equipment. So I was like, okay, I'll just, and my dumbass tried to use a screwdriver to it was pretty bad.
Oopsie.
So I got shocked, and I was like, well, that's staying there.
I'll just leave that there. It's
So then as far as
DEF
CON's issue.
Yeah, we talked about this because of DEF CON.
sorry.
I forgot how we got to there.
So it's been resolved, right?
It has been resolved. I checked today. In fact, there's some more announcements because of that. But I have checked today. The site is back up and running. When the incident first happened, they were like, we don't know when we're coming back online. It'll be hopefully soon. And I think it was maybe a max of 48 hours that they were gone.
So I don't understand something. Why didn't somebody get a goddamn extension cord, run over to the neighbors, be like, can I plug this in?
I don't know.
I'm actually, so like he started off with though, where is the servers running out of? Is it at a residential?
No, I don't think it's I'll have to look at the picture.
You would think they would have it in, just like a
Right.
cheap colo rack somewhere.
It
Why
looked
would
like
they
a
be
warehouse space or something like that.
Why would they be bare metaling it themselves? I guess it is DEF CON for privacy's sake. Maybe they really.
That's what
wanted
I'm
to
thinking.
hunker
Maybe
their
they don't
shit
want
down.
like cloud anything. They want full access and full control over everything, which is
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
But then when shit like this happens, of course, no high availability, no redundancy.
Was that in Las Vegas or?
I don't know. I'll have to look at the picture again. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean,
If you look at the
coordinators of DEF CON aren't from Vegas, or at least I don't think they're here year round. So I don't know. I'll have to look at that picture again. I can't remember if it was on their. I think it was on their Instagram. We'll check that. We'll check that. But in other DEF CON news, when the site came back up and running, I did see more details on the call for papers. The call for papers is currently open, so if you want to submit a talk, please do so. I have to stick to my word and actually submit something too. But just so you know, the call for papers ends on May 1st. So there's your timeline. I'm probably going to put a countdown somewhere so I can remind myself of my failings.
What's a call for papers?
Oh, yes, thank you. So a call for papers. Thank you, Satchel. That was very useful.
I'm here to help.
So it is definitely con season, meaning that we are in this pre-con preparation for the event where people are starting to coordinate things, coordinate parties, coordinate events in the, vendors, all these things.
Sure.
A call for papers is a call for presentations that people want to make at the conference. So if you want to be speaking in front of hundreds of people and if they like your work, you submit this call for paper. You explain your abstract, the research that you're working on, and if they like it, you get selected, and then you talk at DEF CON. And so, yes, that is open for you now if you want to submit a topic. And the topics can range from AI is the big thing right now, and all these things. But the topics range. The thing about DEF CON 2, though, is that now you have a whole bunch of different villages, right? So you have the wireless hacking village, you have all the recon village. So if your talk is more of that type of subject matter, it's most likely going to go towards the villages instead of the main tracks. The main tracks they try to leave for bleeding edge research.
Do they say it like that?
Well, not like that, but I mean
Bleeding edge. Sorry.
Okay. Now, what I read on DEF CON on the post too is that one of the subject matters that they were kind of looking at is they want talks based on taking the InfoSec out of hacking. They say that they're not an InfoSec conference, they are a hacker conference, and there really is a distinction between the two, or they're trying to make a distinction between the two. So an InfoSec conference will be like, oh, this is this new security product, or this security appliance, or this security policy that will help protect things. At a hacker conference, at least to my understanding, it would be more like, this is how I broke said thing, or this is how I automated this really cool, again, nothing that has to do with policy, nothing that has to do with best practices necessarily. It's how did you hack something?
So the two are pretty well related, though.
They're related, but there are these differences, and so DEF CON does not want to be known as the InfoSec conference. They want to be known as a hacker conference.
Okay.
So, anyways, that's
branding,
new. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the DEF CON news from whatnot.
It appears it's located in Seattle, Washington.
That would not surprise me at all. So, okay. Today also is the 2600 meeting, or it was earlier. So I don't know where Vic is, but I am wearing the Telefreak vest. So, and this will go into like the topic that we wanted to discuss today too. Is we're here, or I'm here, and I'm the Lone Ranger.
I mean,
now.
I think we're here too, right? Oh shit! I hope we're here.
I can't tell.
I'm here.
No one's
Am
here. I don't know. We got Muffins over there pacing back and forth.
What is? Well, is he even here though?
I don't know.
Mean, you said you're the only one here.
I don't know.
What
I
is
don't know.
reality?
That's a good question. I'm gonna ask that question to myself again in about 2 hours.
I'm here.
So, which brings me to the topic though that I wanted to discuss: the difference between antisocial behavior and social ineptness or ineptitude. What would be the two? Ineptitude, ineptness,
Ineptitude.
ineptitude. Right? Okay.
Ineptify.
So I feel like hackers in general get this rap or this reputation for being socially inept, like we can't socialize. Whereas if you were antisocial, I would see it as you choose not to socialize.
that's what I was pretty much going to get at.
Right. And today I kind of wanted to talk about those differences. Like, I think again, hackers are by no means socially inept, especially if you're talking about like a skilled social engineer or somebody who really knows how to talk to somebody and get what they want. And that does not.
I mean, even if you question somebody to be socially inept, are they really, or are they intentionally doing that?
Well, again, it depends. Are they trying to social engineer you, or are they literally like these are the people who can't leave the house because A, B, or C? You know.
Are you saying like don't know how to handle people versus don't care about handling people? Okay.
Exactly. Thank you, Satchel. So
I think I'm on the don't care side.
right, but that would the way I would see it is that would make you antisocial, not socially inept.
Yeah.
I mean, like you're here, you can carry a conversation. You don't necessarily freeze when it comes to having a conversation.
Yeah.
We're here doing a podcast.
You can when you want to, but you don't necessarily always want to.
Yeah, like, so I'm able to, still function at work. I'm still able to make phone calls. I'm able to talk to support agents for
Right.
things. I'm able to do stuff like that. But, like, on weekends, I would be defined as antisocial. I don't want to fucking go out. I don't want to do anything.
No.
Doxy's been trying to get me to go out with him on the town for, like, 3 years
That
now.
sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's not happening
I
ever
wouldn't do
again.
it.
I did that once, and I
Don't-
threw her up outside his car.
Right. Why would you do that?
Yeah, not doing that again.
Is that why you don't go out anymore?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just don't give a shit.
Was that because of the Irish pub that we went to?
No, you weren't there. It was just me,
Oh, well,
Doxy,
never
and
mind
BGM. We didn't invite you.
Oh,
I think we may have.
No, that was probably my fault.
It was at Barley's.
No, so I just wanted to talk about the differences. I think, again, hackers, for the most part, are antisocial. You could tell because when DEF CON comes around, there's like 30,000 hackers under one roof. So it's not that we're socially inept. We could carry a conversation. We have people coming up to the community mics, right? So there's antisocial behavior. You know, you're going home, you game maybe a little bit, you go to work, you do your thing, but you're not. You don't care to go out and actively go to the bar scene or whatever. I think these are the differences that I wanted to kind of touch upon. Community mic.
I think most people in IT are just more introverted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And along with that comes with social anxiety to different degrees, right?
Yeah.
And there's a good book I was reading just not too long ago called Quiet, and I think it's Susan Cain. I can't if I remember correctly. Yeah, so you read it. It basically kind of talks about different levels of introversion and different levels of social. It's like if you ever knew the comedian Johnny Carson, right?
Yeah.
He was one of the first. He's an introvert, right? I
believe it.
remember hearing stories about it. There'd be parties. He's in the corner playing cards, solitaire, or some shit by himself, But he just knows how to conduct himself it's like his job.
Yeah.
He can stand in front of people and crack jokes, right?
Sure.
But it doesn't mean that he's an extrovert. It doesn't mean that he's, not socially inept. He just has the capabilities. But I think a lot of people in IT, that's kind of what you sacrifice, right? You want to sit at home, you want to code, whatever. We have that capacity to be able to understand that stuff. Other people who aren't, right?
Right.
Car salesmen, I don't know, I'm just making shit up. Maybe not, but those are people that have different sets of skills.
Definitely.
Maybe they can't program the Bluetooth in their fucking car.
But they can
So,
sell a car. Yeah.
They can sell a car,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just different skill sets, and I
Right.
think that kind of goes with characteristics of personality.
Yeah, and I agree. Like the different skill sets and different concentrations too. Like to learn languages and to be able to code and do all these, it does take a certain amount of brain bandwidth and like a skill set to be able to do all these things. So maybe that is taken up by all that knowledge and just you don't have time to. Well, especially if you're doing. Like some other hackers, or like especially, and I'm going to use BGM as an example. He would have like 14-hour programming days where he's just at the computer so concentrated on the code that he forgets to eat, And so, I don't think that's not social ineptness. It's just he's antisocial because the computer will listen to him. Like he could program the computer to do what he wants it to do. Why don't I just hang out with the computer instead of having to coax this guy to listen to me, right?
Well, then I think it's just he's there. It's like that's where he
exactly.
spends most of his time
Yeah.
versus in front of other people, right? I
Right.
mean,
And it's interesting when you see the two types of mindsets kind of like the bridges are gapped, right? Now let me use myself as an example. I can code. I can spend some time on that, and I also love being on stage. I'm here at the podcast. I love speaking at DEF CON because. Yeah, I like the attention, right? But there are people who are one or the other. There are people who are like right in the middle. So that's what I wanted to bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Makes
yeah,
sense.
I definitely don't think it's like you have to be an introvert to be a geek. It's just I think there's more of a predilection or of people or in IT, right?
Like
who tend
qualities.
to be. Yeah. It's like healthcare, right? It tends to attract people who want to be with people or that want to don't want to deal with that. Some people don't. It's just a characteristics, but it doesn't mean that it rules you out if you're an extrovert.
Right.
There's just more people like that.
Right. And we still have another person from the community, Mike.
I'd offer that the subjects that hackers generally pursue are not of general interest, and whether or not that they're social or not is not relevant. It's more that that we have this chip that we're working on, and it can do all these really cool things. Most people glaze over as soon as you talk chip. So they may be very social people, or they may not. I think it's the topics of coverage that give that perception of antisocial, because you go up and you start talking about, like my son, he is autistic, and he can talk my ear off about the type of wheels that are installed on trains, where we're like driving by and he says, wrong wheels on that train. That's a model, blah, 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 but it really should be a model, blah, 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 but you can only use it in this particular, and he'll talk all day about that. And I'll be like, I don't care. So it's not that he's not social. He's very social, but he's not social about something that anybody else gives a shit about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see your point there. And it's very true. Like, how many times have you guys explained something and it's like, you almost, like, as you're explaining the concept, you almost see them glaze over.
Almost every time.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
time I talk to you, I think that's how it goes.
Yeah, pretty much.
What?
It took like 3 months to get you to listen to one Willie Nelson album.
Yeah, because once you started talking about Willie Nelson as a reggae artist, I was like, what? Nah.
Well, see, that made me want to hear it more. Anyway,
I'm
the
kidding.
album's
Okay.
Country Man. It's really actually
No,
quite
but-
good.
No, it was really good, and I can't believe it took me 3 months to listen to it, but I got
That's
I
all
got
right.
you. That was a good recommendation. But community, Mike brings up a good point, is people maybe just don't care, at least not in the masses, they don't care about what we're doing until they need it. Like wireless technology or...
Well, and then when they need it to work. They
That
don't
too.
need to understand it. They need it to work.
Yeah, that's the black box.
Make it go.
Like, yeah, here, insert this thing, boom, it works,
Yeah.
makes my life better, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you made it do this thing because you're a hacker? I don't give a fuck.
Right. Whatever computer guy, get back in the hole and make my email work. like
Yeah.
But I don't do anything with email.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't care. You're a computer guy. Go do it.
Oh yeah. That's a whole different discussion,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so you're a computer guy? Can you fix my printer? Or so you're a designer? Can you do this? No, yeah. Not the same thing.
Designers have it so bad, man. Because everybody's like, oh, I'll just have my cousin do it if you won't do it for free.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the worst.
Dude. When I was like a freelance like web designer,
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, it's just like, this is what I would probably reasonably charge for something like this, like with the scope of work.
Can't
And like,
you
yeah,
do
but
it?
my nephew knows how to do, like, why would you charge, like, I'm a non-profit. Why would you charge that much? And it's like,
Call your fucking nephew.
yeah,
Then.
like, have him do it. Why am I sitting here at this coffee shop with you right now talking about
Right.
this if you have a all great nephew that knows how to do this.
Yeah.
Because I am not your nephew, and I am not going to make a yellow background with like all these other different types of colors, with images that are off center, with no like border, like
And after you do all that and get it done, he's gonna be like, instead of yellow, let's just make it blue.
ah. But I mean, that would be a simple change for a background
Not if
in a
you
website.
made a bunch of graphics that
Oh,
have
okay,
the,
okay.
I never do anything.
Well, I'm not
with
a
solid
designer,
colors. I
so-
only do stuff with ingredients.
Oh, fuck off. Some men just like to watch the world burn.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
Wow.
Any other comments on this?
So I do have one comment, and it's a total sidetrack. No pun intended. What is it with trains? Because he was mentioning about,
there you go.
like he was mentioning about his
Trains
son.
are pretty fucking
Wait, are you saying
cool.
what is it
No.
with trains
Wait,
and nerds?
Here's what
Like
I'm
trains
saying.
and geeks?
Here's where I'm going with this. In the past week, I have heard like 3 different conversations and seen like kids in the wild that just fucking love trains, and I love trains, and I'm like, what's going on with the trains?
Well, it's I never knew anything about trains until my son became interested, thanks to Thomas the Train Engine. And there is a whole giant subculture of grown adults who literally spend all their income obsessing about trains.
Yeah.
They build H-scale trains, which are like...
I know a guy who does N-scale trains, and so he builds like in his guest bedroom.
Wait, what's H and N scale?
They're different sizes.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
different.
okay.
So like I think H scale is like 1/200th, right?
Yeah, I
Around,
don't
and
know
then-
exactly. It's like all I do is like bread box size.
Yeah.
'cause
So
I'm
it's
not a
1.7.
train guy.
It might be. I don't know. And so N scale is like
It's HO. Thank
There
you.
you go.
yeah. So it's just different sizings of models.
Okay.
Yeah.
They'll literally take their garden and convert it into a rail
Yeah.
yard.
Whole
And these are like, they could sit on them and ride them around, and they know every spec. Gee, thank you. See here, train guy.
Oh, there you go.
or just generalized
cool.
models. But
So
yeah.
it's amazing. They're like car enthusiasts, but way more crazy
Yeah,
about it.
I love it during the holidays. The friend that I know that does N scale models, when he puts up at least 3 Christmas trees in his house, but he has trains going
all the way around him.
It's
Yeah.
insane. I've never, and like he puts these little tablets in, so they have like smokestack things.
Oh,
and
yeah,
drop
yeah,
some
yeah,
water,
yeah.
and it's like it's nuts.
Wow.
I for many years I've dropped a couple $1,000s a year on trains for my son. I mean, he like disassembles them, reassembles them, can tell me everything about them in tremendous detail. It's almost like me in Dungeons and Dragons back in the back in the 70s. That's all I would talk about. My son, that's all he talks about is train. And there's like adults like that, people that you'd never suspect. They're like closet train people.
Have you played the game CSX? Oh shoot, what's it called? Train Sim World CSX Heavy Hauler.
I haven't played it, but my son has it.
It's amazing. So for my birthday 2 years ago, my wife took me out to the train museum in Boulder, and I actually got to ride in the cab, and I knew what everything did. I was like, oh yeah. There's this and there's that and dynamic brake, yada. I was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's my life. Whenever I'm with my son, it's trains 7x24 in his sleep. He'll talk about trains.
Wow.
So that's autism also because but there's folks who are. I mean, I used to work with a gentleman. He literally died from the trains. He actually passed away because he was working a lot of overtime. He went and he said, "I got to go. I'm going to a conference on trains." He flew out there. And because they were making him work at the same time he was at the train conference, he ended up having a heart attack and passing away.
Oh wow!
I mean, he's that obsessive that he would I'm remoting in from the train convention.
God.
Oof.
So it's crazy. I mean, it was like Looney Tunes. You know?
So he was working for the railroad all the live long day.
Excellent pun.
I gotta give him that one. All right, I gotta
Kind
give.
of more a reference. Not really a pun. That was a reference.
I gotta give Satchel that one. So, okay,
Trains are awesome. I like trains.
right. Well, if you guys, I mean, that's the only topic that I had. If you guys don't have anything else that you want to talk about, or did you want to bring up that thing?
Well, so here's what brought this up. There was a meme, a meme.
Oh, don't.
A Mimi?
Don't.
No, not a meme. Stop. It's a meme. Okay, look.
Of course, it's a meme. Of
Yes.
course.
No, because I've heard people
No.
refer to it as a meme, and I'm like, what the fuck did you just say?
No. There's a guy at my work that did that, and I was
On
just
purpose?
like, what? Yeah. And I was like, what the shit are you talking about, meme?
It's the GIF and GIF thing.
No, Satchel's on the other side of that. Let's not do it.
No, I'm saying I can't believe people think that it's meme.
It's not.
Meme. Oh no! In Chinese, it would be MEI for it to be meme. Yeah, that's little sister. Well, we're not speaking Chinese.
Accordions put up on our Discord. It was basically what operating system is right for you. This was like a week and a half ago, and it's fine. It's whatever. But it was just like basically like bagging on Windows, the time-honored tradition of bagging on Windows, and it made me remember. And now we know how to troll Master Chen. Excellent.
I know. I wear my emotions on my sleeve.
There are many ways to troll Master Chen.
We just shut up.
Many.
Look, we just we're referring to the live stream, so if you're not in it, you should be. Discord.
You should be. Yes.
All right. Sorry, Satchel. Go ahead.
Mimi. I'm really glad I started that. Okay, so nerd investment. That's what I was going to say. I'm just going to close that. So I keep seeing everybody typing Mimi now. Okay, nerd investment. So it was basically, like I say, the time-honored tradition of bagging on Windows. And it seems like there's a thing where people become so invested in a certain operating system or a certain hobby or a certain mod pack in Minecraft or a train or whatever. They become so invested in it that they see that as the only way to fly, like the only thing, right? And like this particular meme was talking about was basically like saying, if you're scared of technology, then get this. If you're not, then get that, or something like that.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's fine, but it was just like there are applications where you don't want a Linux machine. We were talking about that earlier. There, if your mom calls and says, "What kind of computer should I get?" If you don't want to be on tech support 24/7, get her a fucking Chromebook.
Yes, agreed. Agreed.
Of course it's Linux, but it's Linux hidden under Chrome. She will never see the Linux part, ever.
You know what's... Okay, so on a side note here, I think the whole bagging on Windows thing, it's starting to become less and less because I think, well, especially with like Windows 10, Windows isn't that bad of an operating system anymore. I mean, like it does what it says it's going to do. It doesn't crash as often as it used to, if ever, really. It's stable. I use it for gaming. I mean, on this laptop, it's Windows 10, and yeah, I may use it to launch into Linux terminals.
Sure.
But I mean, the Windows 10 operating system's right here. Yeah. I've kind of grown out of the whole like, well, you're using Windows, but I don't care.
Right.
It's not a reason to waste my energy of like, you should be doing this and that. So.
Yeah, Apple versus PC too. I've always been, PC from day one. Well, okay, that's not true. Commodore from day one, but then after that, PC. So I've never really been against Apple, but I worked at a company where the same one Doxy worked at for like 5 minutes.
5 minutes. A little more than 5 minutes, but okay.
It was an entirely Mac shop, and for the 4 years I was there, I used MacBook Pro consistently, and I freaking loved it. I thought it was great. So there's different applications, and sometimes this particular OS or whatever isn't the it's not one size fits all. Just because you've invested this kind of time, the nerd investment I was talking about, just because you've invested all this time does not necessarily mean that it's the only thing that anyone should ever use.
Or even the best solution that anybody should use.
Absolutely.
Like when it comes to Linux even, like there's a lot of for it to work the way you want it to work, sometimes depending on what you're trying to build or what application you're trying to use, sometimes there is heavy customization in order for it to work the way you intend. And so like, yeah, exactly. Arch Linux, they claim to be like bleeding edge. And like really they are. Like if there's a brand new thing or whatever for the Linux kernel, Arch has it, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to fit well or that it's going to operate well with others. It's not going to play nice with others. Right. And so going back to your nerd investment thing, why invest that time if you know that there's another solution that already works? I get what you're saying here. Like for instance, Gentoo, or Gentoo. Well, okay, look, it's a Gentoo Penguin. It's a Gentoo Linux kernel. How's that? Okay.
Sure. I'll bite.
With the Gentoo Linux kernel, you're building everything from source. Like, there's no packages that there is with Portage, but what I'm saying is you have the kernel in a source form and you compile everything, which is great for customizing your build, right? So like if your machine has Bluetooth, you install the Bluetooth module. If it has this, you install this module, right? And so you can really streamline your installation.
Okay.
The thing is, if you're not a Linux expert, that install is going to take you a long time and a lot of headache, where you could just install Ubuntu and be fine.
Right.
So even in the Linux space, I get what you're saying.
There's still that thing. There's still that, one size doesn't fit all, but someone who's a Gen 2 master or whatever is not going to know that. They're not, they may even know it, but they're going to be like, oh no, I can do that in Gen 2. I just do blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And that's right for them because they've got that nerd investment. But for everybody else, that doesn't.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely not a one size fits all.
Yeah.
But I could relate to what you're saying on this one. I get it. So, Zenify?
No, I got anything.
All right, you're here.
Doing great. I watched Deadpool, the Christmas version of Deadpool.
Wasn't that the same movie as the two, but like it was?
So there was about
recut
20 minutes of different stuff, and it was recut to be PG-13.
Okay.
And it was actually really worth it for one scene. It's like, let me rephrase that. It's worth renting for one scene with Fred Savage, and it's pretty hilarious.
I think I heard that on a podcast I listened to.
Is it available? Because maybe I'll watch it tonight. Maybe.
It should be. I mean,
Oh,
what do
yeah,
you mean by
it's on
available? Like,
Google
do you
Play.
want it for free or do you want to pay for it? Because you could certainly pay for it.
Man, I know Guac's extra. No, I'm kidding. No, but okay, wait. Never mind. I forgot what I was gonna say. Sorry, but yes, I'm interested. You got my interest.
He wants to fight Matt Damon. No, who is it? Yeah, I think he wanted to fight Matt Damon.
I don't know. Now I'll have to watch it.
It'll make sense. It'll make sense.
Brad Pitt?
Did you see it? Deadpool Before Christmas? Oh, okay. Then that won't make any sense. It will once you see it.
All right. So let's see. Now, these were the only two topics that we had kind of like scheduled for talking about. So
I just got a weird observation. But did you have something else, or were you going?
no. Go ahead. I wasn't going to necessarily introduce this as the lightning round. I was just going to talk about
Community
news.
Mic.
I'm sorry.
It's going away from what Community Mic possibly has to say.
Oh,
Actually, I had a question I'd like to pose to the board.
Okay.
we will hear the
We'll
argument.
do the best.
Someone came to me and said, "Hey, I have a video recorder and I need to recover the video from it." You might have seen the posting in Discord. And the people were very willing to help until they found out it was involved in a legal case.
Oh.
And I was curious what you guys thought about that type of situation where it's not a hard technical problem, but you don't want to
No,
get
it's a
drug in.
very so with that device, because I researched it a little, it would be just as much as extracting the hard drive and read-only duplicating it and then doing your modifications in maybe Kane or something, forensics. But the legality of it, I mean, if I'm going to be subpoenaed,
Yeah, nobody wants to spend time in court.
like they're doing it as a favor to recover footage for some sort of reason without any stipulation that there's going to be anything court-wise to it. Great, I'll do it. But if courts are involved at all, I need a huge scope of work because I need to plan ahead of time for what actually pays me money right now, which is my primary source of income. But if I'm going to be having to take time off, that it gets hairy pretty
But
quickly.
an innocent person could potentially go to jail, man.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I'm still doing it for a consulting fee. I mean, I don't know.
What are
the
you
guy.
going to do? Yeah. No, it's a big, not a big problem, but it's a thing.
It is definitely a scary thing to go into. But if there's scope of work present and, documentation fees, chain of custody, all that is set and you understand the scope and you're a profession
Right.
and you are a professional in that
Profession.
area,
Right.
then you could speak to it and you could do it and you'll get your consultation fee or whatever and it'll be said and done with.
Right.
But
To do something like that, I think, and this is kind of what you're saying,
Yeah.
it violates one of my rules of life. 90 98% of the time, you always want to choose the path with less paperwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
98% of the time. Getting
Yeah.
married, okay, that's cool. That's more paperwork, but that's fine. It was worth it. But other than that, I can't think of one other case where I would want to take the path that leads to more paperwork.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a question after the podcast for you
Oh.
about your gaming habits when it comes to paperwork.
I game every other Saturday for
And the
about
role you
3
play.
hours.
I really want to know.
Yeah.
This is curious.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
curious.
But let's
Okay.
go to community.
All
Let's
right.
go to community, Mike.
Yeah, but just real quick about the cloning. As long as you do a right blocker,
Yeah.
right, on that device, I mean, you could take a clone of it, and if you find something or nothing, you don't have to say anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
just
true.
as long as you do a right blocker, right, you don't want to fuck with that device.
Yeah.
But
I
clone it. look
I
at it.
would, for me, I would also be asking things like, what am I expected to find? Because I've done a
Yeah.
lot of forensic, like, police and law enforcement, like, ride-alongs, and I know that they've gone into situations where they weren't expecting to find child pornography.
Yep.
And they
Then you
find
got it-
child pornography.
then you're involved.
And now it's
You saw
federal,
it, you're
it's
involved.
newsworthy, your name is everywhere. And so if I didn't understand that going in, I'm like, yeah, I'll help it out. Here's my consultation fee. You know, the chain of custody. It's just a small, you know,
And now
maybe,
you fuck yourself.
you know, just a
after
minor
the
thing.
fact.
But then you find something like that on there.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
that's where it gets real crazy.
Yeah. Oh my God. No, a situation like
Yeah.
that. If I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, sure, I can try to get this hard drive back. Okay, this goes to the police.
Oh yeah,
can you-
it's immediate feds are involved.
Immediately. Yeah.
Jeez, and like, can you imagine? Like, not that you would want to, but I mean, like, can you see, like, you don't know that there's risque material on there, and like,
Right.
you're just investigating. You're like, boom, and there it is. And you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, that
Let's
shit's in
close
your-
this shit and
that-
like, yeah.
once you comprehend what you just saw,
Yeah.
you have to make so many decisions in your head on, are you even going to say anything? Or are you going to be like, yeah, I didn't find anything. But then you got to live with yourself on what you saw, what might come after. It's like it gets way too deep, way too quickly, and that's where
I think I'd
why
say
I said
something,
scope of
but of
work.
course, I'd like to know that that's a potential thing that we're looking for
Yeah.
beforehand.
'Cause
right?
chances are-
if it blindsides me,
Yeah.
I'll probably, I'll do the right thing and be like, yo, there's some shit up on here, but now I know that I'm going to be kind of in it
chances
for the long
are
haul.
the top level owner of said device would have a generalized idea of what you may find, and if they're even keeping that from you, oof, I don't want
Yeah, that's all hairy.
But see, there, back to my rule of life, though. If I see that, you know what the path with less paperwork is? Handing that immediately to law enforcement.
Oh yeah, but you're
Oh,
still
yeah, but
involved.
you're still involved,
You're
though, right?
super involved.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But it's going to be way more paperwork if I just like give it back to him and then he gets popped.
Oh, and then
it
you're
rolls on me.
Fuck.
Oh
yeah.
No.
Yeah, there definitely still.
No,
involved.
your rule still applies.
It still applies.
Yeah, good
Yep.
job. All right. Well, with that, yes. Thank you for that question, Community Mike. Now, with that question, that actually gave us enough time to make this a lightning round. Good job! Yay! We've used our time wisely. All right. So, who wants to do the lightning round first? Who wants to go first?
No.
All right, Xenophi, it's
Sure,
you.
what's up? Yeah.
All right. So, for those of you who do not know what the lightning round is, we are going to go to today's going to be rstechnica.com/science or something. No, it's just general news, product
Something-
tech. It's
something-y
tech.
something.
It's tech news. We're gonna give our tweet's length of an opinion on these things here. Which, by the way, side note, we did go to thehackernews.com, and since my laptop is now on the Pi-hole filtered network for Synshop, there's only 6 articles there, so it cleared out like 4 to 5 articles of clickbait, which is fucking crazy. Anyway, so we're here. Again, we're giving a tweet's length of an opinion. We don't want to tell you what to think or how to think. Just we want to point you in the right direction, perhaps. All right, Xenophi, you are going first. First article, Amazon to open all new grocery stores separate from Whole Foods.
I mean, okay, it's only going to be groceries, I imagine. I don't know. That's a huge investment. I mean, they sunk a lot into Whole Foods, and they already started putting their own brands in Whole Foods. Is this grocery store going to be like the ones that we saw in Seattle, where you just walk in, take something off the shelf, and walk away, and they bill you for it later?
Do they have that in Seattle already?
They have one that they're beta
shit.
testing, but only for Amazon employees.
Mhm.
It's because it's still like alpha and all
Super
that.
beta. Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I really don't understand why they would open all new grocery stores, like
Yeah.
just use Whole Foods. But then again, maybe Whole Foods has a certain clientele.
Branding.
Thank
Branding,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, it has a certain brand, and their other one would have a different one. That really treats Link, but it is what it is.
Got it. All right, next one. The real reason Microsoft's already testing 2020 Windows release? Azure. Like they've already answered the question. They've had the question, and the next word was Azure. Azure, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
I say Azure.
Azure.
Sure.
You want to host this in the cloud? Sure.
Let's just
Oh
make
my
fun of
God,
this
is that
article.
why they did that?
Or this.
I have no idea.
Sure. Put on the cloud? Sure. Next one. You know what? We kind of should have talked about this one this week. We talked about the YouTube pedophile problem last week.
Oh, I was going to ask if you did.
Right,
yeah.
we did. Last week we did talk about it. But this one, it's a kind of a follow-up. YouTube will disable comments on most videos of kids because of pedophiles.
So, do we know why the hell people... I just totally jumped in front of you. Do you want to go?
No, say your thing.
Do we know why the hell people are just getting on to videos of kids and posting weird, fucked up
so
shit?
I said last week, one, there is a community that does this. They share secret links through comment sections of these
Like
videos
time
to
codes
post
of,
to
like,
other,
yeah.
not just the time codes, they're trying to link to outsource and external material, just to bring their community together because they're all fucked up in the head. But I was also making a claim that there is a subset of even that where they're just trolls. They know that in mass, if they do these style comments, even if they're not a part of that community themselves, they know they'll get that channel taken down. So they're basically doing raids on purpose as just a troll stunt.
Yeah, so now I heard it phrased this way, but now, like if it wasn't before, the comments section is now weaponized, right? So like...
Sure.
Somebody has a vulgar comment, now the channel or that video gets shut down. So it's not even you as the content creator.
Right.
It's the comments that you are now subject or liable to.
I saw
right?
a lot of
that sucks.
tweets and like Twitter conversations, to YouTube support where people are like, hey, my teenager content creator had their channel shut down because for these reasons, the pedophile reasons, but there was no evidence of that on their channel except for maybe like on one YouTube channel. It's just a link and the algorithm picks it up and like, nope, whole channel's banned. But it's like what he was saying. It's just weaponized. Like that person their community was great. The content creators community they're not a part of it at all, except one person just decided to comment in a random YouTube video maybe 3 years ago that the person posted, and it still got flagged. The content creator lost all their revenue, all the plans that they had, super fucked up everything, and now they either have to start from scratch or they have to just give up on.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably talk about this in depth next week in a sense of like, I think in some aspects...
Doxy was the one that brought it up last week, who told us to talk about it, but he wasn't here, so we could bring it up again next week because we'll have the full...
We should have everybody here, yes?
Yeah,
okay. So we can move on in just a second, but I just wanted to say, I think in certain aspects the internet is getting maybe too big for us to control what goes on it. Whether you want to argue whether it should be controlled or not is a different question. It's not a question of do you want to control it. The question is can you? Like this thing is just so fucking big. But we'll talk about that next week, maybe. Most likely.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one. The Volvo Polestar 2 is the first Google Android car.
So, it's an electric car too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, you remember the nerd investment thing? Dude, I'm fully on board with Tesla. I don't give a fuck about any of these other electric vehicles. Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, that's how I stand right now because they have proven concepts. All these other ones are just coming out with what they feel is going to trump, Tesla. But right now, what we have in front of us is what's fucking working. So with the nerd investment thing, I kind of fall for that.
And that's fine. I mean, you resonate with a certain brand, and so I get it. And if it's still right for you, then there you go.
Yeah.
But my tweet would be, it's weird. The Volvo Polestar is crazy. They named a car after my ex-girlfriend.
Nope. Not gonna let him. Let's go with Community Mike on this one.
We got laughs.
We got time. We did?
So as I always told
didn't.
people, it's funny when you watch these cars, like, oh, it's a Tesla killer, etc. The one thing that other car companies haven't gotten down, and obviously I'm speaking as a Tesla owner, right, is one, they have an ecosystem, right? It's not just a Tesla. They have a supercharging network that's across the United States.
Yeah.
Like you can literally get, I think, between 93 and 95% of the United States, between 100 to 150 miles apart of every supercharger, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So you can cross country in multiple ways, north, south, east, west, right? Software updates, right? They have programmers. This is a Silicon Valley company. It's not a Detroit company. It's not a legacy company, right? I get an update almost every 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, software updates. The first Tesla owners out there from 2012 still get updates, okay? It's that's what I mean by it's an ecosystem.
So, the infrastructure's in place.
It's these other car companies are just putting out electric vehicles.
Right.
And it's like they think, oh man, people are going. And you know what? You're not. Sure. There are people who own Teslas. They get lemons. They get pissed at the company, right? But they're not going to drive away people like me. Like I don't care if you sold me that Audi for half the cost, right? I'm going to get in, and there's still going to be this legacy feel, and like some other people who have mentioned, they've gone back with their Chevy Volt, and next thing you know, they say, well, you know what? I'll even pay for my firmware upgrade, and they say, no, you got to buy a new fucking car.
Yeah, whole
because
new
you
thing.
won't even get a software update. That's bullshit.
Right.
That's
right.
Detroit, right? It is such a legacy thing, and
Like-
they can't get out of that.
yeah.
They've got a long ways to go.
Well, I was talking with a few, because the whole Tesla news this week, I was talking to a few people, and the way I see the Tesla, I personally, and I could be wrong, I personally don't see it as a car. I see it as a computer that takes you places.
Yeah, and actually, that's what Elon said. He said it's a computer on wheels.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more
That's
computer
exactly
than-
what it is. He said.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I do know this. If I were to get a Volvo, I'd make sure it was light blue. Because there's just something about an aqua Volvo, man.
oh my God! You give him one. You gave him one, and he keeps going.
How often do I get to use that?
You
though?
almost made me chuckle. That was close. That was close.
The guys from the 50s, yes, they
right, okay.
love that.
Now,
Yeah.
this is going to be the last one because I thought this is interesting. Let's see. Microsoft's latest service uses latest security service uses human intelligence, not artificial.
Humans are stupid. I wouldn't trust them.
Antisocial, not socially inept.
Do not worry. It looks like you need a document, yes?
Oh my God. Why do all of the artificial intelligence things have to be Russian with you?
I don't know. Well, because
Just rushing to the jokes there, are you?
That's where they would put their
No one
their,
gave me that one?
Their people. What sorry?
I said just rushing to the jokes, are you?
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in you.
No? Oh, come on. All right. Well, I guess if I'm going to make fun of Satchel, I'll get... Okay, fine. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the show. We've run out of time. Never had a shit to say.
Never.
What?
No, go.
No, never had a shit to say.
Not once.
So join us again next week where I believe we're going to be back at full strength.
Probably.
Right? Probably, I
Maybe.
think. And Doxy better be wearing that shirt. He's not listening right now, so nobody remind him, please. I'm trying to win this bet with
I'm
him
gonna
himself.
remind him.
No, don't.
I'm gonna tell him.
I've already
No.
bought like
Fuck the
3
police.
shirts.
You bought 3 shirts?
Yeah, I have spares.
So what, it
I'm
doesn't
kidding.
fade? Oh, asshole. Anyway, go to synshop.org for information on the shop. Remember to go to meetup.com/synshop for the classes and the stuff that we do here. Go to Greynoise, GREYNOI.se for information on us as a podcast. Remember, we don't talk shit about Sweden, so we can still use that domain.
Great furniture.
Yes, I have a Caesar's Palace pen in my hand. Don't know why.
Where'd you get that?
Right there. Anyway, my name's Master Chen.
I'm Xenify.
And I'm Richard Satchel.
Good night, everybody.
Yay.